Blog Talk Radio.
And welcome to this week's segment of Live Without Limits. Today's show is titled 5 Marketing Trends Small Businesses Should Know About. And you have offline marketing as well as online marketing. So what we're actually concentrating on here is the online marketing. And the trends that you need to know about are very important simply because how business is done today. More businesses are starting up with e-commerce stores online simply because it's cheaper to build a business online, because if you open up a brick and mortar store today, you need $500,000 to actually get started. But if you build a store online, you can get started for under $1,000. And even if you have a brick and mortar store, you still need an e-commerce store, or you are leaving money on the table. So small businesses always face trends and challenges when competing against more established and much larger companies. Small businesses sometimes simply cannot compete with the vast resources that larger companies have access to. However, they do have the ability to leverage their capability to quickly react to competitive challenges and use this agility to respond with the 5 key marketing strategies that can definitely help their bottom line. And the first one is digitization and e-commerce. Small businesses that are brick and mortar operations will need to embrace technological world and maximize the product awareness by establishing an online presence. E-commerce is the ideal channel where small businesses can advertise and sell their products to prospects and consumers. Establishing a professional e-commerce platform can easily be achieved with countless software firms providing click-and-go online portfolios that can swiftly be established and operational within days. A small business can also integrate its social media digital channels with their e-commerce portal. If it's professional services that you specialize in, then using tools such as Zoom and Microsoft Teams will move meetings from the office to your living room, minimizing the disruption caused by working from home or enforced lockdowns. This is what the pandemic taught us, that we now live in the digital age. Now, let's back up. You have the baby boomers, and that's the generation that was born between the 1950s or 1946 to 1964. Then you have Generation Y, who were born between 1965 and the early 80s. You have the millennials that were born in the 1980s into the 1990s, and then you have Generation Z, which is the digital babies, and that came about in the late 90s prior to the 21st century. And those two, the ones that were born in the 1980s and beyond, they are very comfortable and purchase online all the time. Therefore, you need to be aware of the fact that because everything is done on your smartphone today, that group does everything with your apps. You can purchase online. You can go into your browser, put in a domain name, and come up with the website and purchase online. So if you are aware and incorporate that into your business today, then you are going to have an advantage. And here's the thing. You need to know which platform works best, which one has all the tools to be able to incorporate into building and growing your business, and which ones can interact with Zoom very easily. By incorporating all of these tools into your business, then it will help you to expand at a much faster rate. The second thing you need to know is artificial intelligence or website integration. Website chatbots are instantly popular with online businesses, and small businesses can leverage them by integrating artificial intelligence with the e-commerce digital platforms. Once the doyen of science, fiction, folklore, artificial intelligence is transforming how businesses interact with customers, and they have the capability to promptly respond to most consumer inquiries 24/7. Web chatbots are a proven artificial intelligence service that are more convenient than other communication channels, such as phone and email. Business phone calls that are placed on hold can sometimes be neglected and simply not even answered, while emails can be integrated or end up unintentionally placed in the junk folder. Web chatbots offer the best of both worlds and provide customer query convenience, and with a high probability for inquiries will be met with a positive response. Now, the commonly known is that of ClickFunnels, and ClickFunnels was started by Brunson, and he proved that it will work. But if you can find a platform that has a chatbot that you can integrate with other tools, for instance, if I wanted to, I can integrate a sitebot with my website. I could also take it and integrate it with Facebook fan pages. Because remember, in Facebook, you have Messenger. But if you have access to a way to use that tool so that when someone is on that page and has questions, and you have someone that's monitoring it for you, they can answer it very quickly, because the idea of artificial intelligence is very simple, that instead of waiting for an answer, you get that answer immediately. And that's what you want to do. For instance, where I dock my website, we have access to a webinar funnel. And if I take and create a webinar, I can create ghost attendees that I can set it up for them to ask questions. That way, when I take my webinar and make it evergreen and sell it later on, then when they're asking questions, they're going to bring people who are actually attending the event thinking it's live. And not only that, but then they'll start asking questions. And because it has a built-in chatbot in it, you can get that information almost immediately and answer it as though you're right there while they're watching it. This is why understanding technology and incorporating technology into the way you do business today is so important, because that technology is how you're going to build those relationships. And when you build those relationships, not only will they buy from you once, but they will come back and buy from you again and again. Therefore, the third thing to know about is customer experience and customer service. A happy and satisfied customer will become a repeat customer and will likely recommend your small business to friends, family, and coworkers. But how can a company gauge and understand this business's overall effectiveness towards its customers? This is where customer experience can help. Customer experience is the overall contact from a customer identifying or discovering your product or purchasing, or your product to shopping, purchasing, delivering, and then using the purchased product. Any follow-up communication the customer has with you, with your employees afterward, is part of the overall customer experience journey. Small businesses can online survey their new customers to assess feedback and determine business processes that require improvement. Net Promoter Score surveys are used to canvass your customer to determine how likely they are to provide a positive recommendation, typically reported on a scale from 0 to 10. Evaluate your competitors' product reviews and pay attention to their customer feedback regarding their products. The knowledge garnered here can maintain your competitor differentiation or provide business ideas on how to diversify market segmentation successfully. Now, what you also want to be able to do when you have an online store is incorporate a help desk. Because remember, on your website, you have a contact me page where people can ask you questions. Well, if you have a help me tool or access to it on your website, then what happens is you can have someone that you hire and pay them to say, spend 10 hours a week on your website just answering questions. And that means maybe 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, because or however long it takes to answer it, but it won't take that long, and they don't have to be doing it constantly. But you do want to be able to answer their questions within a relatively short period of time. So remember, and the idea here is if you're going to evaluate your product, your competitors' product reviews, then you're going to understand what issues they're having and what problems they're having. That way, here's what happens. You can incorporate that into your business before you even start selling your first product, because here's what you want to be able to understand and do. You want to be able to connect with someone and connect with them quickly. And because, if you offer the best customer service possible, then what's going to happen? Well, for one thing, it's going to give your customer the impression that you truly care about them. And let me tell you something that I came across, and it really answers this question. Recently, I attended a free event, and what I do is I've evolved from spending a lot of my time doing speaking engagements to actually doing and offering online programs, so that, and I'm really at an age that I don't want to be doing a lot of traveling anymore for work. So what happens is, when it came time to look at their program, I told them up front, I said, I'm not looking to make a 6 and 7 figure income, because that time has passed for me. But I am looking for a way to make an extra $1,000 or $2,000 a month. And oh yeah, well, guess what they wanted to charge me for that program? $1,400. Well, I did initially sign up for it and make a down payment, but then I didn't really have the rest of it. And then I found someone who could actually market my courses for me, and that's all I'm looking for. And when I told them I wanted my money back, then it was like, oh, we got this other program coming up that they wanted to apply that down payment for. And I finally just told them, you know what, refund my money to me, or I will go onto the internet and I will post articles how they took advantage of me. Because what happens is that when someone becomes very successful as a speaker, instead of just giving or mentoring someone else in the industry, they start looking to charge other speakers bukus of money just so they can be making a 7 and 8 figure income for themselves for when they retire 25, 30 years down the road. And they're not looking for, what if you have someone that is older and they're more towards the end of their career. And here's the thing, that even many speakers that I know that were very successful in the 80s and 90s, doing a lot of traveling, many of them don't know how to incorporate the internet and marketing and building a business online. And therefore, what's happening? Well, now they're being left behind because the old way of doing things doesn't work anymore. So understanding how to incorporate. Now, the one thing the pandemic did was it accelerated what was already happening across the board in all industries. So you have to be able to understand how to incorporate that into your business. So let's look at this again. Evaluate your competitors' product reviews and pay attention to their customer feedback regarding their products. The knowledge garnered here can maintain your competitive differentiation or provide business ideas on how to diversify market segmentation successfully. The next thing to know is sustainability and eco-friendliness. The millennial generation and their younger associates are the most vocal regarding these subjects, and they are demanding climate change action from governments. They also firmly believe that businesses should invest and engage in social and environmental practices. Small businesses can respond in several ways to authentically show both consumers and potential leads that they do care about sustainability, environmental protection, and eco-friendly business disciplines. Donate to climate awareness charities and actively communicate the subject on your small business social media channels. Develop and incorporate sustainability within your own workplace by actively reducing waste packaging generated from business production and workforce byproducts. Add these practices to your business's mission statement and communicate your practical sustainability achievements to all of your customers. In the U.S., leverage the tax credits and monetary incentives available for companies that utilize solar and renewable energy abilities. Your green business practices will be warmly welcomed by local companies. They will also generate positive marketing messages in the broader business audience and consumers. And here's another tip. Walk the walk and talk the talk. That means if you're going to talk about the environment and saving money and getting rid of gaseous fumes and all of that, you got to be doing what you are telling other people to do, because if you're not doing it, why should I listen to you when you're preaching to me how I shouldn't do this and I shouldn't do that? And it's like, think about it. You had the Global Citizen Festival this recently, and these were people, that entertainers that came up and performed, but then you had speakers up there who were sitting there and telling these big corporations how they should just give their formula for making the vaccine to these poor countries. Well, if you're going to talk about that, why don't you take your nonprofit organization and fund building the facility in those countries who need the vaccine so that it can be, the formula can be used? Because just giving them the formula and expecting them to go out and make the formula when they don't have the factories to produce it, well, you're not doing anyone any service by giving it lip service unless you're willing to put forth the effort to do something for yourself and actually give back. You have Doctors Without Borders, and what is Doctors with? Well, those are doctors that give their time to go to countries where they don't have doctors to see to it that those poor countries get the medical care that they need. And there's other charities out there. And let's put it this way. If you're going to preach about something, it's not about preaching about it. It's about actually doing something to show that you care, because just giving it lip service is not the way to go, because people will see that, and that is where you are going to find out that you are really not doing yourself any good other than being looked at as a hypocrite. The last thing is the Internet of Things, blending the digital and physical. And that's important because online and offline marketing are very important, because people still read newspapers, and advertising in newspapers is important. Then you have the flyers that come in the little weekly things that you get in the mail. And all of that is a very important part of marketing today. Then you have your direct mail with the little coupons. There are significant discussions regarding the Internet of Things. But what does that mean for you, your small business marketing campaign? The key here is it depends on the industry that your business is in and whether these methods of digital tracking and marketing will suit your business style. An example of this marketing trend that might positively affect small businesses in using a beacon A beacon is a localized and confined wireless sensor that can recognize when a customer is located within a distinct location of your business, and it can automatically respond accordingly. For example, suppose you have a small business store that offers tools and hardware products for both tradesmen and DIYers. In this case, a beacon can be set up and configured to offer special discounts on specific items when they are walking nearby. The marketing inclination is just one example, and there are so many diverse ways to leverage this technology to suit your small business. The biggest thing here is to understand remember, people have cell phones today, right? And those cell phones work off of towers. So your towers or your beacon, and that can tell you who is within vicinity of your store. And not only that, what it allows you to do is one thing, that if you've got advertising out there that works off of those sensors, then what you're doing is you're able, in essence, to be able to access that information. And in accessing that information, then you're able to ping on that phone and add about something that's going on within your business. And that literally helps you to incorporate all of the growth and the technology and the access to the internet for marketing, because today everything has totally changed in how marketing is done. And remember, you can go to my website, and that website is the #1 personalcareercoach.com. And you can sign up for group coaching, or you can join my membership site, which is home-based business blueprintnetwork.com. And I have some courses on there that you can incorporate into learning how to market online, how to build a business, whether you want to offer sales funnels, a white paper, and here's the kicker. If you want to white label your products, then that means that what you're doing is selling the licensing. And